It is kind of chilly in here, but yeah. We don't really have foie gras, but we have some duck liver, so I think that's close enough. But I've had all the guts soak in a brine. That's all it is. Just salt and water, because to take some of the puric acid out and the blood and everything. With bones and a lot of organ meats, you do want to soak them instead of eating them straight up. You can eat them straight up, but then, yeah, they're gonna have a stronger organs taste, and you're gonna have more puric acid, which in higher quantities ain't healthy. So, you know, if it doesn't hurt, then hey, thanks for life. If it doesn't hurt you, then maybe, like, if you don't mind the taste wise, I would recommend soaking most organ meats in a brine that you then discard. For health and for a lot of cases also for flavor. All right, our pan is clean. Nice. We're also gonna set up a lentil soup. So yeah, just because. Well, also just because I'm gonna need some. Then just okay, how much liver is this? If it's 100 gram plus, it's not. It's like 80 grams. But the rest of the little organs, these are gizzards, I believe, adds up to like a bit over 100 grams. So that'll be enough protein mixed with like 25 grams of protein from the peas that I'll be having. Means though I will actually need some extra fat. Never mind. Here we have our extra fat. Okie dokie. Did I? I didn't scorch these. Of course not. That's why would I do that? Be really careful not to cut the pan, but I'm just slightly scoring the skin. That way it'll render out better. And let's turn the heat down a bit. Let's get our big pot on here for lentil soup. Actually, this pot will do. It's my second biggest pot. And it does have a lid. Well, the really big pot doesn't. Hi there, Cone fan. How you doing? Let's do some mountain lentils for again. I've actually gotten a little low on fiber this last handful of days. So I've been eating more meat and stuff. I'm cooking. Right now I'm rendering out some duck fat to fry some duck liver in. I also want some garlic to throw on top of that. So let's get some garlic going. We're gonna put my garlic again. Comes the papa. Okay, also, I had someone else use my kitchen earlier, so if I don't know where stuff is, there's a reason for that. Okay, I also, if no one else used my kitchen, I still don't know where shit is half the time, but this time it's actually not my fault. Come on, I've got all this garlic. It can't all be gone with the wind. Where did you put it? Okay. The person who used my kitchen earlier collected all of it and put it in a separate bowl in a compartment where I don't store food at all. So that's the reason I didn't find it. Okay. But first, we need to set some water up for a lentil soup. Lentils are pretty much ready for water now. I already burned them a little bit. A little bit of char ain't a big deal, but I think I kind of overdid it. For the rest is the rest are basically not charred at all. Well, that'll be all right. I hate it when someone else uses my kitchen, especially when they think they gotta clean up and organize shit. Just leave stuff on the counter and let me do it. You know, don't. Yeah. Anyway. And I know if I complain, I'm never gonna hear the end of it. So I'll just be quiet and complain to you guys. Sorry for that. Oh well. But yeah. Okay, let's go in with our gizzards first and put some garlic on top of them. For a liver, I'm not a big liver fan, by the way, but I've gotten to where I can eat it. Oh, and of course, let's get the garlic on there. Definitely want garlic on the liver. Nice, nice, nice. Nice, nice, baby. All right. All righty. By the way, if anyone wants to join the live, it is set up as a dual live, so you can. All righty. That piece of liver will be done. This side of the pan, I'm going in with our peas and turning up the heat because otherwise the peas are going to cool down the pan. And I still want to get some color on the meat. Hey there, Cat. We have some duck liver and duck gizzards. Going in with some caramelized onions. Because I bought a whole duck and it was there. Like, I wouldn't buy this stuff, but I also don't want to throw it away. So we have liver and onions with a side of peas, basically. A large side of peas, as you can tell. And we're boiling away some lentils for later or tomorrow or whenever. Ever since I've been homeless, I've gotten a lot less picky when it comes to food that I will or won't eat. So if you're a picky eater, be homeless for a while. You'll be more willing to try new stuff. Promise. I'm only halfway kidding. Some salt, need some more. Yeah. Being homeless and having to live mainly from off the land, you will learn to eat stuff you normally wouldn't have eaten. It's not even bad. It's not bad actually, the duck liver. I was ready for something way more intense. And I do not like liver. Yes, Chase, you heard me right, in case you're watching. Don't worry, he knows what I'm talking about. Stina, by the way, she loves liver. Yeah, it's definitely not something I would eat every day. I think Shay still has nightmares about the liver I made when I was visiting him. He didn't eat it, he just couldn't handle the smell. Sina was all about it. She loved it. But yeah, I just ate the liver because it's the first thing to go bad. Well, the meat will last a few days, and actually, the first few days isn't good. The meat gets better after it's been on ice for a few days. But the liver and stuff, you want to eat that within the first few days. And because I had no proper cooling, that's what I did. That's also, for example, when the Native Americans used to hunt buffaloes, they would eat brains and livers the day of the hunt, not the meat. So they would keep, because they had ways to preserve the meat, but those organs not as much. Plus, when it's super fresh, the meat is really tough anyway. Pussycat. Did the pussy actually walk through the screen? Hmm. Lila. Okay, I don't know where she is now. No, I'm talking about the one who would not try liver. Oh, okay. No, and why are you even saying that? I couldn't get care less. Actually, out of all my girlfriends, only one was white, which I think is a stupid term anyway, because Central and North Asian people have lighter skin than Europeans do. So the term white is stupid anyway, but yeah. Cat, you want to know how you get big? Eat some pussy. Okay, baby. You let me do quite a bit with you. It is. It is. Yeah. It is a bit. It is a bit rude to open up with that, and like, it is a weird thing to ask. I do think that, but also if I don't respond, then that sounds like I do. So you know, you too. Well, no, I'm not even out of bed yet. Oh wow, I'm gonna get up. My dog outlawed you. Good seeing you this morning. Same. I was actually waiting for your morning live, but it just didn't come. But I was relieved to see you at Yogi's because I was getting a little worried if everything's all right with you. Are you getting sick, Cat, or just tired? Okay, maybe she already left. But yeah, I'll boil another kettle of water for my lentil soup, maybe some tea. Okay. Oh, and by the way, Ahura, or whatever the right way is to say your name, my best friend is actually Peruvian. Well, half Peruvian, but she was born there and lived there for the first few years of her life. This is some turmeric, and she still has family in Peru. And I probably grew up in the most well, not grew up, but I was born and lived the first couple of years of my life in the most multicultural part of Germany. Lucy, what's up? Hey, so we've already finished our food, but yeah, busy on the YouTube streets. Internet was out a while, but I'm determined to catch up and go live on Wednesday. Still doing Wednesday and Friday. Nice. Yeah, I've had internet issues too, but now it should be fixed, hopefully. Oh, warming my hands up. But yeah, they were updating something with our internet. Yeah, we got a whole new router and everything. And even though it's supposed to be better, I had no internet for the first couple days. So I'm still not sure if it's better than it used to be, but it's working again. So at least that. At least I've got internet again. Because the mobile data here also sucks. So even though I have 100 gigabytes of mobile data, so I'm not really worried. Even if for several days I don't have Wi-Fi, just the mobile reception here just isn't good. So I still need Wi-Fi just to have proper reception. So yeah. Anyway, our soup is going. Yeah, we've got our tea. This cup is hey Clark. This cup is for someone special, which is why I also started to take really good care of it. Not like my usual tea cups that I just get really stained till I eventually clean them out. This one I really do take good care of it because yeah, it holds some meaning. A bit whimsical and everything, but still, it holds meaning. I do connect it to a really special person, so yeah, I like to keep it pristine. She just said, I'm a bit worried about. He's live. He's talking to the live stream, bro. To anyone watching from the outs, if I'm not looking at, look, I'm still talking to you right now. Might be walking around or doing stuff, and it looks like I'm talking to myself, but I'm really talking to the freaking live stream. I just can't always look at the camera because I'm got shit to do. Okay, well, if someone's on a live stream, they're probably talking to the live stream, or just they might, or just like saying stuff that is not directly directed that at the. If I just ramble on about something, I can't always stare at the camera. But yeah, I might just be maybe it's not it's just holding a little monologue. But yeah, I don't think you have to worry about people talking to themselves if they're live. Because I mean, even if he was talking to himself and he wasn't live, I don't think that's a big deal either. To be honest, most people do it, but yeah, on a live stream, I wouldn't worry. Doing okay, I think. Just got some soup started. Got a hot cup of tea. Gonna jump in the shower soon. Won't take you guys with me. Sorry. There's only one person allowed to join me in the shower. But yeah, yeah. I already had some food. You had fried garden peas and liver and onions, as well as a couple of gizzards. Coming up again. Today is the 18th, right? Yeah, yeah. Tomorrow we'll be training again. My tracks are fucking sore. Tomorrow it's gonna be mainly legs, but also some forearms and neck. Yeah, neck and legs basically. But I started to split my neck training up, so I'm basically training my neck on every single day I hit the gym. Or well, if I'm gonna split my training sessions up even further, I'll not increase it for now. But yeah, next coming along nice. Yeah, like you said, having a strong neck could even save your life. Yeah, it has. It literally has saved my life. And like, I'm doing similar volume, but instead of having like one session, where I go all out and do like 3 or 4 neck exercises, I just have 4 neck exercises, all separate movements. So each, basically, currently I have split up my whole body into 4 separate sessions. So each session starts with like 2 or 3 sets, 2 or 3 working sets on one of the neck exercises. Tomorrow will be a relatively light day because it's an exercise I haven't really done in a while, which is going to be lateral neck flexion. I might actually also try, I'm going to do them on a bench, but I might also try doing them standing with my head harness. So basically, I'm laying down on an inclined bench, putting a plate on top of my head, and doing this movement. So, oh, actually, I have like a little fractional plate here. So something like this. So yeah. I'm going to do them on an incline bench, but I might bring my head harness to try out if I do them on a cable standing, or maybe seated, but on a cable. If I might get a bit better stretch, because holding the plate actually, nah, the problem is because some of the muscles, they attach also on your shoulder. So if I'm holding the weight with my other hand and going with it, I kind of miss out on that deep stretch. So I'll try both, but yeah, it could also be worth it doing them on a cable standing, especially to increase range of motion, because I used to be able to easily put my shoulder on my ear, and I can do it if I pull my shoulder up, but I can't if I keep both shoulders down. This is about as far as my neck will go. So if I can have the weight pulled down like this with my harness, I could really get a deep stretch and get more range of motion, because former world wrestler Kurt Angle had a thick neck. Yeah, Mike Tyson had a giant neck too. Like, what I want to achieve, basically, because I think one of the reasons, right, I'm never really going to hurt my neck front to back is, look at this. Now my chin is resting on my chest. You can curl up my spine, but it's not actively pushing on my neck anymore, And back here, same thing. My head rests on my traps. I have enough flexibility that it's actually not my neck anymore that's really absorbing the pressure. It's going straight from my skull to my upper back or my chest, if there was an impact. My head is just gonna fall over, and then there's shit anyone, and then I have my uppers, my rib cage and my thoracic spine that can take the load, which is much stronger than the neck. But sideways, if I'm gonna get hit like this, okay, it would realistically, it could probably also just pull down like this. But if for whatever reason my arm is anchored, then something here could tear, and it's gonna all go through the head, so through the neck. So that's why I would like to get some more range of motion. Because even if I keep stuff as tight as possible, I do have that. I do have that maximum range of motion front to back, but not side to side, I'm not there yet. So yeah, I might start training my neck mainly for mobility side to side. For muscle growth, front to back is the most important. Rotation is also more for stability and to not miss. You have like 2 or 3 actually like your major neck muscles will be your sternocleidomastoid. This one, it runs. It's like from here, here. This is the main muscle that moves your neck front to the front, but it also does some side action and some twisting motion. Then you have your levator scapulae, which pulls also your shoulder up, and it pulls your neck back and to the side. And then you have your trapezius, which actually is mainly a back muscle, and it's really thin. It does run up the neck all the way to the skull, but it's really, really thin. It's right under the skin with a thin muscle. Below that, you have a relatively thick muscle that only runs through the neck. That is a specified neck muscle. That is a main muscle moving your head back. Not your traps, but this other muscle, which I forget the name of. And then you also have like the upper little bits of your spinal erectors, but they're really thin up there as well. So those are like the 4 main muscles. And I'm not even sure if I would call the trapezius the main muscle of the neck. But all of them, basically, they get hit pretty well with front to back movements. But you have also another like 15 smaller muscles. You have roughly 20 separate muscles in your neck. And I like to move my neck in all directions to also stimulate all of those smaller muscles. They don't get hit really well with front to back movement. So yeah, I have a neck harness, and sometimes I use that. What do you think about that piece of equipment? They are useful, but I also think they're overrated. Well, yeah, they are, because another really good neck exercise, like the only thing that a head harness can maybe be better is for like lateral neck flexion, but well, you can get a bit of a better stretch on the back of your neck, but you also get a really good neck extension if you just bite down on a towel with a plate hanging or a kettlebell hanging off the towel. Just bite onto it, and you actually get a better contraction. You get a way better contraction if you bite down on something versus on a head harness. But the stretch is better with the harness. So I would swap these out every few months. And for rotation, I hate the head harness for rotational work. I just have never been able to get a good feel for rotations. For rotations, I bite down on an ankle strap, but that ankle strap no, I wasn't. Not at all. I use an ankle strap, but one that I washed in the washing machine and only use for this purpose. I clip it on the cable, bite down on it, and do neck rotations like this. I mean, of course, without my hand there, but well, let's take this knife. I do this motion. So yeah. And of course, you could do all of these movements with different angles and stuff. But I think if you have flexion of the neck, like neck curls, you have neck extensions, you have lateral flexion, and you have rotation, you're pretty much covered, you know. And I used to believe I'm glad you covered how small the trapezius muscle is. Many seem to believe it's a major part of the neck. Yeah. It's... Oh, I'm getting hot anyway, so... And I'll get something to tie my hair back real quick. Alrighty. And maybe the head harness. There it is. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Because, yeah. Look at the trapezius. Of course, I'm not lean and the lighting isn't the best, but this is really where the trapezius ends. And now we just have like a tiny little bit run up the neck. I can actually feel it. I can pinch it right here. Even on my lower neck, I'm pinching like this much muscle. This much muscle. This, like it's less than a finger width of muscle back here that is actually the trapezius. But there's this other. You can also feel it if I shrug my shoulders up and back. I feel that this muscle contract, but in here I'm in the groove. This is a groove of the trapezius up here. I'm already below the trapezius now on my neck. It's really a thin muscle. This is the outlines of the trapezius. And now down here it gets really thick and chunky, all the way till here with the lower traps. But the part of the upper traps that runs up the neck, it's just a really flat, thin piece of muscle. Below that you have some actual meat. Which is also why I wouldn't focus that much on the trapezius part, but focus on the actual big, strong muscles of the neck that actually make up the majority of the neck. Because right below the trapezius, you can feel, oh, there's something else that is like this thick. That is like, like close to like a toilet paper roll in size that runs up there on both sides. That is some serious meat. So if you want to grow your neck or strengthen your neck, your trapezius shouldn't be the main focus. The thing is, you train it almost the same. The only thing that you could do, maybe you could shrug your shoulders up on the eccentric, because now my trapezius isn't stretched. Yeah, it's gonna get so it could actually do it like this. Now I'm basically taking my trapezius out of the equation. Because I'm moving up when I go for the stretch, meaning I'm shortening the trapezius. And I'm moving my shoulders down on the eccentric while it's lengthening. So the neck base, and of course when I go down, I'm stretching my neck, the back of my neck, but at the same time I'm shortening my trapezius from the other end. So it doesn't really change much in length. It's more like a seesaw action instead of stretching and contracting. It's just more like a seesaw. And now while I push up, I can lower my shoulders, stretching the trapezius while I'm contracting the back of my neck. And that way I'm putting my trapezius in active insufficiency. But you don't have to do that. as long as you feel the rest of your neck also getting sore and tired and trained and stimulated, and not just your traps, you don't have to do that. But if you feel your traps getting too hard, hey heavenly, if your traps get hit too hard from neck work, you can do it like this. And now the traps can't really do much. Then they're basically actively being taken out of the equation, because they're being put in a position where they don't really have power to contract, because they don't have anything sturdy to contract against, because at the same time as they're lengthening to contract eccentrically, they're getting shortened from the other side, and while they're shortening, trying to shorten on one end, you're lengthening them on the other. So yeah, not much is happening. But all the other muscles that don't have that function, that don't attach to the shoulders, they are getting, then you then have to take over. So yeah. Hey, no, I made coffee earlier. I'm having some tea, and honestly, I'm finished with the work, with everything pretty much. We have some lentil soup going on here, but yeah. Hey, Lucy Lou. Just had a guy ask me a few questions about neck work, and I just got my neck equipment out. Yes, I know it looks like some S&M toy or BDSM gear, whatever, but it's not. I promise. If you ever see me looking like this, I'm training my neck. Even if I have chains hanging off of here. I might try doing stuff like this. I like that idea. So yeah, this is my head harness, neck flex Tefla. The reason I got this version is because this was the only one I could find that actually has fleece on the inside, and the other ones have neoprene, and if you have long hair, that neoprene can stick to your hair and pull your hair, and that's no fun. But this has a nice fleece interior, so that's why I have this version. I do have to say though, this part right here, this came off. This stitching here is I've done all of this by hand. I pulled out of, see you later, gotta do work. Okay, heavenly. See ya. So yeah, I pulled out some strands from some heavy Kevlar I had for fishing and stitched it back on. But it was coming off, so that is something where the quality wasn't the best. And here's what I use for my rotational work. I bite down. So yeah. That's what I do. And yeah, Clark, I don't know if you were there, but I was just demonstrating how, actually here you can kind of see it, you know, this is a trap, and this is all that's left of the trap here. And the further up the neck, the less it is. When up here, it's literally just this little, like, I don't know, 2 or 3 millimeters. There's fake layer that is only like this wide. And all of the other stuff isn't the trapezius. And I also demonstrated that you could take the trapezius out of the movement by, on the eccentric, you basically shrug up. That'll also take your levator scapula out of it to a large degree. On the eccentric, you shrug your shoulders up, On the eccentric, you lower your shoulders. That way, your trapezius doesn't really get a chance to contribute much to the movement because while it's lengthening at the neck, it's shortening at the shoulders, and while it's shortening at the neck, it's lengthening at the shoulders. So that is a way, if you don't want to hit the trapezius and levator scapula and more of the other neck muscles that perform neck extension, you could do neck extensions like that, which might be useful because the neck muscles that attach to the shoulder, so your levator scapula and your trapezius, they get already worked from rows, from lateral raises, upright rows, overhead pressing. All of that stuff trains the levator scapula and the trapezius to a degree, but it does not train the other neck muscles. So for that reason, doing like this funky stuff can work. By the way, that's also when I do lateral raises, while you're gonna see me do stuff like this. Why the hell is that dude moving his neck on lateral raises? Well, as I raise up, I'm gonna be shortening my traps and levator scapula. But if I lower my neck at the same time, I'm lengthening those muscles. So my side delts have to do more of the work because the levator scapula and trapezius are kind of being put into active insufficiency. Then on the eccentric, I raise my neck, doing the same thing. I'm shortening those muscles at the neck while they're getting lengthened at the shoulder. And you can do the same thing while you're training your neck. Or you can just of course you can keep your head straight, but if I do lateral raises like this, I do feel them quite a bit more in my traps and levator scapula than if I do them like this. So yeah, just some food for thought. You don't have to do this, but these are like some of the tricks you can do if you have the anatomical knowledge. Make your training more effective. And yeah, the sternocleidomastoid, a big front part of your neck, it literally runs like this. Attaches here, here, all down here, and then up here. So this is actually the function it technically performs. But because if you have it on both sides, if they contract at the same time, they're going to pull your neck forward and down. But one at a time, they would do something like this. But yeah. Anyway, I think enough of an anatomy lesson. I also have to go to the bathroom. Hey Dan! Unfortunately, you just missed it. I basically gave an advanced course in neck anatomy and how to train the different muscles. But I'm sure I'll be talking about it again. If you want, rewatch like the last 10-15 minutes. But I also have to go to the bathroom soon, so I don't think I can talk about it again. But if you want a quick summary on some stuff, this is my neck equipment that I use and a little towel. If I'm biting down with a plate hanging off a towel for neck extensions, I could also attach a weight on this and bite like this. Actually, I would do it. In that case, I would do it differently. I would do it like this. But yeah, for neck rotations, I attach this to a cable. You could also use a band. And yeah. And of course, neck curls, you just take a plate, maybe use a towel or a beanie. If you have metal plates, if you have rubber plates, don't worry about it on your forehead. On a bench, ideally a slight incline, just do your neck curls. But yeah. I'm actually starting to have to experiment on how I get a good stretch on my neck curls, because my traps are starting to get so thick that, you know, I don't have any stretch yet, but my neck is already my head is already resting on my traps. So I have to do some weird angle stuff to still get a stretch on the front of my neck. But I'll figure it out. And one thing I just mentioned, if you want to keep your traps and your levator scapula, because they already get trained on deadlifts, on shrugs, on rows, on lateral raises, on overhead presses, if you want to keep them a bit out of the movement, raise your shoulders up while you lower your head, and while you extend your neck, you're going to lower your shoulders. So like this. Because, you know, your traps and your levator scapula, they attach to the shoulder, and they also do this motion. It's not just this motion. So if you pull them up while you lower your neck, you're shortening them at the shoulders while lengthening at the neck. And then when you go up, you do the reverse. You lengthen them at the shoulder while they get shortened at the neck. And that means all your other neck muscles have to take over, because those two can't really do much, because they're just moving like a seesaw. Getting longer here, shorter here. Getting longer here, shorter here. Longer here, shorter here. They're not really moving at all, while the other muscles have to do all the active moving. So that's why this movement can be beneficial if you get sore in this area, in your traps and levator scapula already, and you don't want extra work for them, but you do want extra neck work, then this movement can be valuable. But yeah, I think that's going to be enough yapping about neck training for one live stream. Oh, and by the way, I don't know if you've noticed this, but your trapezius is a really small part of your neck. It's like really thin, and it just runs under the skin, but it's a really small part of your neck. Your traps are thick till about here, but then in the neck they become really teeny tiny. Oh, I hope I'll be okay tomorrow, because I might already get a little sore from all the explaining I've been doing now. I want to be too bad, but yeah. I've gotten some new ideas for my own neck training that I've just gotten. Gonna be experimenting with those. And also one that's gonna allow me a stretch on the levator scapula. Sorry, not on the levator scapula, on the sternocleidomastoid. Because like this, yeah, you can get a stretch, but like this, you can also get a massive stretch. And I'm gonna be able to stretch this better without the traps getting in the way as much. If I use the harness for that and train them one side at a time. So we're gonna see about that. But yeah, anyway. Yeah, I also really need to go to the bathroom, so Tea is already done. Cheers, everyone. Much love. Remember, this ain't a knife, mate. That's a knife. Peace out. See you guys soon. Ciao, ciao.